Hey everyone, welcome to the latest installment of The Way It Is, January 2023. I can't even remember if we did one before this. I think we did. So Happy New Year, belated New Year to everyone. Anyway, winter in Canada and Kingston. So listen, if you like, because keep forgetting to do this, if you like what you see, please share, please hit buttons and do all that kind of social media stuff. So today, unfortunately, we had a guest that was a last minute cancellation due to the weather that we just had. Because yesterday was Bell Let's Talk Day for mental health. And, I think we all can agree that during the last several years, there's been a lot of exposure to those that, I guess, in one form or another, suffer from some varying degrees of mental illness. Depression comes and goes. So we're hoping to have that person back on the show, because I think it's certainly a topic that's not only timely, but needs to be discussed, especially for those that are in need of support here in the community. But today's topic / rant, following in the footsteps of the venerable Rick Mercer, is this latest Bank of Canada interest rate hike. And I don't know about you guys, but this one really chapped my ass, I'll tell you that. And the reason being that, this is the 8th increase in the span of 6 months, let's call it. And so... And the biggest problem I have with it really and truly is all of the unintended consequences that they've created, that they still and some of the remaining factors that they haven't solved. So let's start with those. They haven't solved food insecurity and food inflation. They haven't solved energy prices and energy costs going up. They certainly haven't stopped the war in Ukraine, obviously. So there's underlying factors here that rising interest rates aren't helping. But what they are doing, because here's the unintended consequence, they certainly haven't helped, of course, also the housing crisis, housing affordability. And I'll tell you why. Because now you're actually penalizing people. You've actually penalized those buyers that potentially were in the process of buying a property and qualified at a certain rate, and now are literally had buying power, 20-30% of their buying power taken away from them. You've got people, because they want to slow the economy and slow the real estate market. Real estate market's always the one. It's always the one that gets shot at first, right? It's always to blame for overheating, and it's always to blame for, and it always gets the one that gets the air sucked out of it. So, and then you've penalized people by taking essentially some equity out of their hands, right? In terms of their wealth or long-term wealth. So let's get to the part about where they've taken buyers now, okay, dump them into a lower purchasing category or band, if you will. And so what's that doing now is we're seeing right now in the market in Kingston in January, we're seeing a lot of people competing for the same houses in the lower price ranges. So now we're seeing, again, some multiple offers, places coming up for sale, selling for marginally over the asking price within a day or 2 days, because now you've dumped everybody into the same band. And what have you done? You've taken the air out of those people in a higher price bracket that are trying to sell their homes, or those that and now there's no buyers left to buy those homes. So all you've done, Tiff Macklin and Bank of Canada, and I'll argue the point, because I really can't stand these ivory tower, I won't use the MF word, sitting around pondering and pontificating about the economy, when none of them are in the trenches, working every day, paying for bills, doing all of that, right? And that really bothers me. So all they've done now is they've continued to widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots. That's all that's happening. The middle class is getting eroded. It started a long time ago, and now this is just even more of the same. Though there's those hanging on by their fingertips, but ultimately, all it's showing is the disparity between those that still can and have and those that now can't. I mean, it's evident in our community. When we had the podcast with Dan Irwin at the food bank, the numbers have gone up across the country at every food bank. Working poor. And wages aren't commensurate with what's happening with interest rates and the cost of living. That's the other problem. And why are you trying to stop an economy? Real estate is responsible for a lot of other businesses and factors in the economy. When you buy a house, you may buy an appliance. You may renovate a room. You may buy paint. You may buy tile. You may buy flooring. So all of those other trickle-down benefits into the economy that stay local potentially, right? That's helping your neighbor or your business owner. That's all getting shut down. So I can only hope that this is the last one, because the unintended consequence now too is look at the cost of trying to find a rental, because now people that couldn't afford to buy are in a situation where now I've got to rent. If you're living at home or whatever, or if you're looking for a rental, good luck. The cost of rental prices in Ontario and across the country are soaring, even more so than they were back pre-pandemic, which I didn't even think we'd exceed those. Go online. Try to find what a one-bedroom apartment rents for here in the city of Kingston now, or a home in the city of Kingston. You still need a substantial double income to rent a house here in Kingston. So there's one unintended consequence. The other unintended consequence, as I've said to you, is that they still haven't solved any of the really underlying factors of what's going on in the economy and in the world. I'm not an economist. I get that. Don't profess to be. But from where I sit, and for as long as I've done this, there's things that help and things that don't. This doesn't help. It doesn't help anybody, truly. So we'll see what happens in the weeks to come. I've had some people call me this week, say, hey, I'm ready to buy. Is the bottom hit? I can tell you now, the bottom hit. If there was a bottom, and again, let's use that in quotations because values are still above pre-pandemic levels, right? So the article the other day was house prices had gone up as much as 50%, and now they've dropped 20, 25%. So we're still 20, 25% above what they were before the pandemic started, right? So yes, it's not January 2022 when prices were literally crazy, but there's activity in the marketplace and prices aren't going to collapse. All right. So if you're thinking that the world's going to end and everyone's going to be having, walking away from their houses and handing in keys, although mind you, if they increase the rates anymore, those that are stuck in a variable rate, that sadly could be an option. But and those that are in variable rates, like myself, you shake your head and you go, well, you should have fixed. Well, the problem becoming, where along that timeline did it make sense to fix? They didn't even give you an opportunity to do any research or really think about it in terms of doing the cost benefit analysis of should I lock in now? And then everybody was hedging their bets, right? Because they come out with the double speak. Well, we don't know and we're going to see and all that kind of stuff. So they haven't even been definitive in any of their decision making along the way. Anyway, I'm rambling now. That's the rant for today. Let's hope that things even out now, that the dust settles. For those of you that, are trying to get into the market, absolutely. Now is a great time to buy. The values, I'm going to say to you this, the values are the best they've been, quote unquote, over the last 2 years in terms of they're certainly not skyrocketing like they were in the beginning of the pandemic or January of last year. So that's the topic for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for indulging. And we'll talk to you later.